Imagine the camera plunging into a storm that blots out the horizon over Japan's northern frontier. A rotor-thumping helicopter claws at sheets of rain, its searchlight carving tunnels through the cloud. At first there is nothing, just the frantic lashing of wind across volcanic ridges. Then the beam catches a shock of white on swampy black. 3 letters, each wider than a city bus, flare into view: SOS. They lie miles from the marked trail in bogland unwalked by casual hikers, formed from 19 pale birch trunks laid with impossible precision. In the cockpit every heartbeat thunders like ordnance. The navigator radios the find, circles twice, then drops a flare that hisses into the murk and dies on waterlogged moss. There's no sign of movement, no campfire, no footprints radiating from the beacon, only the dizzying thought that someone powerful enough to raise a monument this size might now be lying silent beneath it. 12 hours earlier, 2 university friends from Tokyo, 23-year-old Masahiro H. and 24-year-old Daiki T., signed the climber's ledger at a lakeside lodge below Mount Asahi dock. It was the last clear line anybody would read in their handwriting for what felt like a lifetime. August 21, 1984 was meant to be the perfect window, the tail end of Obon, lower tourist traffic, alpine wildflowers in full blaze. The national forecast that morning reiterated an offshore low, but predicted only scattered mountain showers by dusk. Lodge caretaker Mizuno first sensed trouble around 1800, when cloud devoured the summit earlier than usual, and thunder rattled the windows like artillery at a distance. By 2000, he reached for the radio, reporting the pair overdue. 2 local rescue officers advised waiting until dawn. They knew this massif's appetite for false alarms. But by midnight, lightning hammered the ridges with uninterrupted strobe. At 0445, the prefectural chopper codenamed Sora 9 punched through the thinning layers, harnessed to a search grid drafted on a dog-eared topographic sheet from 1976. They scanned switchbacks, fumarole vents glowing sulphury blue, the congregation of memorial shrines where past climbers had left stainless bells for fallen companions. Nothing. They reset altitude, skimmed the tree line, and only on the 3rd pass, minutes before fuel would force a return, did Sora 9's spotlight rake across letters that did not belong to any contour map. If the voice recorder from that flight had not been erased by routine maintenance decades later, it would carry the gasp the co-pilot let slip when the flare flared, hissed out, and revelation collapsed into pure foreboding. Standard protocol demanded an immediate rappel insertion. But the swamp beneath the beacon was a glacial kettle, ringed with peat mounds that turned underfoot like wet pillows. There was no stable surface for the helicopter's skids, no ridge close enough to anchor ropes. The pilot radioed headquarters. They would widen search radius first, hoping to see motion or reflective fabric. Tens of minutes passed. Then a faint thermal return blinked on the FLIR camera, 2 heat signatures emerging from a shallow cave more than a kilometer north-northwest of the letters. Relief burned away dread. The helicopter skimmed low. A medic in an orange suit dropped on a 4-point harness and ushered the men into rescue seats. They were weak, scraped, half-blind with fatigue, but they were alive. Inside the cabin, Masahiro gripped the medic's elbow and whispered, "Who built that thing?" No one answered. In the casualty debrief, the hikers explained they had lost the main path in zero-visibility sleet near a famous landmark called Safe Rock. Except, as later investigation would show, they had obeyed the wrong boulder. There are 2. The real Safe Rock is the trusted right-hand signal. Its twin, fake Safe Rock, sits less than 15 meters away, but aims trekkers directly into the southeastern abyss. Masahiro and Daiki insisted they never left each other's side, never carried heavy tools, never felled trees. They had spent most of the previous day huddled in the shelter cave, licking condensation from basalt walls. Rescue officials believed them. The men's bodies bore only scrapes and mild frost nip. No saw blisters, no bark splinters, no exhaustion micro-tears from hauling logs. So whose message glared from the marsh? And where was its author? At 6:20 on August 23rd, a 30-person ground team convoyed toward the sign forestry workers, police climbers, 2 self-defense force engineers with portable cutting gear, and a forensic specialist from Asahikawa Medical University. They hacked corridors through sasa bamboo so dense the stems clicked like billiard cues at every step. By midday, humidity climbed past 90%. Each breath smelled of iodine and wet wood. The beacon's birch trunks held position exactly as the aerial photos promised, pencil-straight, slight fungal bloom only on underside bark, a hint they had rested here perhaps 2, perhaps 5 seasons. But something else waited amid that geometry-gnawed bones, 6 meters east of the O. A mandible missing half its incisors, a right femur splintered mid-shaft, vertebrae notched by teeth from Ussuri brown bears or red foxes. The zoologist debated which. No skull cap, no pelvis. The forensic officer draped tarps, documented angle and scatter, then supervised bag and tag. In the mud next to the remains lay a half-buried rucksack, standard dark blue nylon, zips corroded. Inside, a Sony WM-F10. Walkman flecked with rust, 4 cassettes and cracked jewel cases bearing inked labels of 1980s anime theme songs, an almost full tube of mint green lion toothpaste, a palm-sized bar of milled soap sealed in a Sapporo business hotel wrapper, a thin face towel embroidered with a fish pattern logo. The towel intrigued investigators because lodge laundries rarely stocked that style. Perhaps it pointed to coastal merchandise from farther south. Preliminary osteology suggested a female between 20 and 40, approximately 160 centimeters tall, blood group O. Trauma lines in healing bone hinted at earlier accidents, not necessarily terminal ones. The difficulty lay in reconciling that profile with the mountain logic. To lay 19 birch logs each roughly 16 feet and possibly 200 kilograms apiece would require at minimum 2 metric tons of timber moved across sucking ground. Even discounting weight loss from seasoning, the effort is monstrous. One person working alone might roll, pivot, lever with dead branches. But the uniform parallel alignment of each stroke in the letters implied teamwork, measuring a leader's eye. And yet there was nothing. No drag grooves deep enough for multiple journeys, no rope fibers, no splinted footprints, no discarded tool. Whoever labored here left only immaculate lettering and a backpack full of lonely songs. Back downtown, investigators nursed black coffees in a strip-lit office when they slid the 4th cassette into an archival teak deck. 14 seconds of blank hiss passed, then a slam of tape splice and a male voice erupted in hoarse Japanese. SOS, Tasukete kudasai, cliff below, bamboo too thick, pick me up where the chopper met me first. He repeats 3 times. His cadence is panicked, but enunciation remains oddly formal, as if he expects a flight crew to parse coordinates from diction alone. After the 3rd loop tape adhesive gives way, and the player stutters before silence. Nobody sleeps easy that night. Enter Koyo Aburatani, 31, magazine freelancer driven by equal parts curiosity and professional hunger. While police still secure the site, he secures access to property lines held by a forester willing to trade entry for anonymity. Aburatani's equipment list is minimal. Rubber wellies, a surplus metal detector, handheld GPS, a waterproofed Super 8 camera he intends to pitch to variety show producers later. On August 28, he breaks perimeter solo, weaving through bamboo, using the beacon as center point, then spiral searching outward. That afternoon, he registers a shallow iron buzz and digs with gloved hands. Up come 2 damp 35mm Minolta bodies, mud erase serial numbers, and a pocket notebook swollen to twice thickness, pages bonded into pulp. Inside a Ziploc-style pouch he finds a laminated driver's license. Kenji Iwamura, born 1959, address Konan City, Kochi Prefecture. Over 1,300 kilometers as the crow flies. Passport memories later confirm Kenji told classmates he aimed to touch snow in the north that summer. Police escalate. The Iwamura family endures a 4-day fingerprint and dental comparison saga that ends inconclusive. No molars to match, no prints to lift from bone. But the anime cassettes? Yes, the genres line up with Kenji's known obsession. The backpack? His mother recognizes a frayed keychain strap he fashioned in high school. The voice on tape? Absolutely not our son, the father swears. Yet case officers under directive to deliver closure merge backpack and bones into a single victim. Kenji must have died here. Gender mix-ups happen, they argue. Determining sex from partial skeletal remains is not bulletproof. Blood type? Contamination perhaps. By September 3rd, the prefectural press liaison declares the SOS mystery resolved. Tragic misadventure, single fatality, nothing criminal suspected. Reporters file brief obituaries and attention slides elsewhere. But science has a habit of resurfacing awkward truths. In spring 1990, a postgraduate seminar at Asahikawa University re-examines bone collagen isotopes using updated spectrometry. The samples do not align with Kenji's medical records. DNA, still primitive compared with 21st century standards, nonetheless shows a probable XY karyotype. Blood residue in marrow reveals type A antigens, incompatible with the original O label, and with Kenji's medical file noting type B. The seminar publishes cautiously, raising critical incongruity, but the prefecture, unwilling to reopen, shelves the comment. Over the next decade, web forums about unexplained mysteries translate the paper, igniting public fascination. Now the story morphs: a vanishing woman, a misplaced man, inconsistent lab work, a monumental SOS no single body could build. Topographers revisit the geography. They model descent routes from fake safe rock with analog altimeters, proving that once a hiker passes the twin boulders in zero visibility, gravity lures them southward along a slick couloir that appears at first like an alternate summit approach. The couloir compresses into a funnel of sasa stalks, some 3 meters tall, clacking overhead like bones in a wind chime. Exit options narrow to 2, scramble back up crumbly gradients or continue down toward the Chubetsu River and its glacial marshes. Even in dry season, mud here can suck boots clean off. In wet season it becomes a lunging delta of hidden pockets, each deep enough to swallow a knee, sometimes a thigh, occasionally a life. Hauling timber across this mire is Sisyphean, yet the letters lie flat, crisp, unshifted, as if pinned down by design. Engineers run weight budgets. Suppose average birch density at 670 kilograms per cubic meter. A 16-foot log roughly 8 inches in diameter equals 0.22 cubic meters, or about 150 kilograms green, 120 dry. Multiply by 19 and you flirt with 2,300 kilograms. Could slow-motion brute force shift that much? With block and tackle maybe. But pulleys leave scars on bark, none recorded. With snow sledges perhaps, letting winter frost harden ground. Yet local diaries list no expedition permits that season. If the builder came alone, they were superhuman. If they came in a team, why did only one body surface? Every answer spawns grandchildren of new questions. The simplest theory many online sleuths champion is the paired hiker scenario. Kenji meets an as-yet unidentified woman on the ridge. They misroute together, share limited rations, one fractures limbs, the other wields a hatchet. Over days, to increase visibility for passing aircraft, they craft the SOS. When infection sets in or water runs out, the stronger partner treks into bamboo to seek help, leaving Walkman loops behind, maybe believing the cassette might catch a pilot's ear if volume is maxed. But where is that stronger partner now? If she or he died farther downstream, bones could lie beneath meters of peat, beyond metal detector depth. Flood cycles bury evidence. Red foxes carry small remains. Mountain zephyrs scatter clothing fibers. A search radius of 400 meters was realistically all police could manage within manpower constraints before monsoon returned. Anything beyond remains uncharted. A more unsettling possibility suggests the sign predates both Kenji and the bones. A mystery builder, lost or trapped years earlier, constructs the beacon and perishes. Seasons roll on. Birch plastination under bog water slows decay, preserving whiteness. Storms smash canopy, but letters persist. Then, in 1984, Kenji, alone or with someone, wanders onto the site, leaves backpack and tape, suffers misadventure, maybe drowns crossing the river. The bones found belong to the earlier builder. Kenji's skeleton lies elsewhere, still underwater or deep bamboo mat. This layer cake theory explains age ambiguity in bone collagen but begs for more bodies than we've counted and resurrects chilling doubt. If so, the swamp might be hosting a palimpsest of tragedies stacked one atop another like geological strata. Technological leaps tempt new attempts at truth. In 2012, a university drone project scanned the marsh with LiDAR. Preliminary filtrations revealed faint rectilinear hollows 60 meters southwest of the beacon, shapes inconsistent with natural peat hummocks. Permits to excavate stalled, wetland protection, funding shortages, COVID-19 border closures, yet those signatures wait. DNA sequencing now can resurrect profiles from picograms of nerve tissue, meaning even fox-gnawed vertebrae might still sing genealogies. The biggest barrier is administrative appetite. Prefectural officials, once burned by global headlines of botched identification, prefer dormancy. Meanwhile, guides fix thicker ropes around fake safe rock, QR code printed panels in Japanese, English and Korean bark warnings, turn back, this is not the summit route. Still, climbers chase Instagram clout. In 2023, 3 college students live-streamed themselves hunting the letters, comments flooded with watch your step emojis, then the feed cut when battery died. The trio returned 2 hours late but intact, claiming they saw nothing but mosquito hell. Others remain convinced Birch still gleams under new moss, ready to trap the next wanderer. All the while, the tape's voice endures on ripped bootleg MP3s across the internet. When slowed 15%, it chills the listener with raw, gulping tremor, the last audible proof of someone conscious enough to cite a helicopter rendezvous point, but maybe too delirious to mention any companion, because perhaps there was no companion, or perhaps there was, and their absence had already hollowed his sanity. That omission is the riddle's poisoned barb. If you and I were stranded with another soul, would our SOS ignore them, or would we cry for both? Picture returning to the mountain today with modern kit satellite communicator in pocket, 4K drones in pack, LiDAR mapping phone app humming. The sky might still drop fog like a blackout curtain, GPS might still jitter near ferrous lava. You might still misread the boulders and slide toward bamboo corridors older than your grandparents. And if, out of nowhere, you glimpsed edges of birch emerging like ghost bones from peat, what then? How many minutes before instinct drags you away from the marsh, back toward whichever direction feels like up, far from whatever secret the swamp intends never to yield? Until someone braves permits, drills cores, carbon dates bark, matches mitochondrial halotypes, the SOS of Mount Asahi dake will remain a negative space in the map of certainty, an emblem of effort without author, of plea without witness. For now, the only sure caution etched by decades is simple. When cloud kisses volcanic ridge and wind begins to spin bamboo like wheels of bone, trust neither the path beneath nor the rock beside you. Turn back before the mountain adds one more untallied chronicle to its silent ledger of lost names. Names that may outlive any flare, any broadcast, any beacon, save 3 pale letters lying patient in their peat bed, forever spelling the oldest human sentence: I am here and I am alone and I need you to see me.